Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today we are going through chapter 14 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the three modes of material nature in the Bhakti Gyan course. So look at a summary of chapter 14. Previously, the Lord has referred briefly to the modes of material nature. But in chapter 14, Krishna gives details of the three modes of material nature. These three qualities, goodness, passion, and ignorance, permeate everything we see, hear, taste, touch, and smell. Our lifestyle, attitude, and behaviors also fall under these modes. Through closer analysis, we can perceive how people are functioning in this world with a mistaken belief of free will, when in actuality they are impelled to act according to these influences. Therefore, unless one is able to transcend these modes of nature, they act to perpetually trap one in this material world. Even goodness is not good enough. So the themes are what the modes are, understand how they work, the attributes of one who is in each of the three modes, and how to transcend the modes. So let's start reading. Riansh, would you read the Sanskrit verses? And Shamalini, would you read the English translation?
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Yes, Mother. Chapter 14. The three modes of material nature. Text 1. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Param Bhuya Pravakshyami Jnanam Uttamam Yajñatva Munaya Sarve Param Siddhim Itogata.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Again I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection."
Text 2. Idam Jnanam Pashritya Mama Sartamyam Agata Sargepi Nopajayante Pralayena Viktanti Cha.
By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolutions.
Text 3. Mamayo Nirmaha Brahma Tasmin Garbham Dadamyaham Sambhava Sarvabhutanam Tato Bhavanti Bharata.
The total material substance, called Brahman, is the source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings, O son of Bharat.
Text 4. Sarvayonishu Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavantiya Tasam Brahma Mahajonir Aham Bija Pradapita.
It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father.
Text 5. Sattvam Rajastama Iti Guna Prakriti Sambhava Nivarnante Mahabaho Dehe Dehi Namavyayam.
Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes.
Text 6. Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatvat Prakashakam Anamayam Sukha Sangena Varnati Jnana Sangena Chanaga.
O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge.
Text 7. Rajo Ragatmakam Vitti Krishna Sangasamudbhavam Tannibadnati Kaunteya Karma Sangena Dehinam.
The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings. Is it longings? Yeah, okay. O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions.
Text 8. Tamastva Ajnanatjam Vidi Mohanam Sarvadehinam Pramadalasya Netrabhis Tannibadnati Bharata.
O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness, born of ignorance, is the delusion of all embodied living entities. The results of this mode are madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul.
Text 9. Sattvam Sake Sanjayati Rajakarmani Bharata Jnanamavrityatu Tama Pramade Sanjayate Uta.
O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion conditions one to fruitive action, and ignorance covering one's knowledge binds one to madness.
Thank you. The summary of verses 1 to 9. Mode is a translation of the Sanskrit word gun, which literally means thread or rope. The three modes influence a person's character, behavior, and approach to life. For example, if goodness, sattva, predominates, one will aspire for and generally achieve long-term happiness, even if one experiences temporary inconvenience. The person overtaken by passion, rajas, practically seeks immediate short-term gain and doesn't expect much more out of life. On the other hand, the person dominated by ignorance, tamas, rarely achieves happiness at all. In this way, the material world is populated by living entities in different conditions of life. So, how to understand what the three modes of material nature are. So, material nature are normally represented in these three Devis. So, Tamagun, Rajagun, and Sattvagun, mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness. So, they have rope in their hands and they are directing the living entity uh, in their acts, the way they feed, the way they eat. So everything is guided by these three modes. So the living entity, the eternal living entity, the soul, is transcendental Sachit Ananda. So that's the eternal nature of the soul. But when the soul comes in contact with the material modes of nature, then it is conditioned. Then the living entity is conditioned and forced to act according to these modes of nature. So very difficult to really pass from ignorance, passion to the mode of goodness, and even beyond the mode of goodness. But all this is possible if we take to devotional service and try to control, how we say, the desires, everything, the way we eat, and then we try to be fixed in the mode of goodness. Yes, come on, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Yeah, brilliant. And the reason why the living entity sometimes can become conditioned by the modes of three mature nature is because it's minute. It's given some independence by the Supreme Lord, but because it's a marginal potency, it's tiny, it's small. It's sometimes it comes under the shelter of the Supreme Lord, sometimes it doesn't. Just like the description given is on the beach. There's land and there's sea. Then between there's the beach where sometimes the water comes and comes over the sand or rocks. And sometimes the water is not there. So we're a little bit like that. We're sort of stuck in this position, especially if we are in this material world. But if we're connected to the Supreme, then there's no danger of being overcome by the three modes of material nature because we're protected by the Supreme Lord. So, anybody, any questions?
Yep, Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Shyamali.
It says even the mode of goodness, that's also not good, is it?
Not good enough. It's good because
Not good.
yeah, it is good because if one is situated in the mode of goodness, at least, there's a tendency there's an inclination towards spirituality. In passion, you're just too busy. In ignorance, you're just crazy. But in goodness, there's a little hope. Somebody in the mode of goodness, has a little better chance of looking at the spiritual aspects of life. But it's not good enough because even if one is in the mode of goodness, it'll carry one to perhaps the heavenly planets because one does very nice, helpful work towards humanity. But that's not enough because one has to perform bhakti, the devotion to God. Through those humanitarian acts, still have to add God to the equation. So that's why it's not good enough. Yeah. But there's a better chance of becoming God conscious when one is in goodness.
Okay.
There's also a risk that if one is in goodness, one becomes quite happy in that mode because there's no sinful acts. Because there's no sinful acts, life is very pleasant because there's no bad karma. But one becomes very satisfied in that mode by this presence of some sort of happiness, some minute happiness, material happiness. And that may come in the way of making spiritual progress because one is happy. Usually one goes towards spirituality when one is dissatisfied with life, not happy. Something's missing and we're looking for something. But in the mode of goodness, sometimes you come to a state where one is very self-satisfied, in fact. So that can be a big hindrance. Big hindrance.
But Prabhu, in the mode of goodness, like, I don't know, I want to give this example, but I don't know if I should.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because You know, like the people who follow Sai Baba,
Yeah.
they're helping people
Yes. Correct.
and doing a lot of donations. Would you
Correct.
consider them in the mood of goodness? But most of them, sometimes they are not vegetarian.
Ah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Right. That's true. That's true. They may. Sometimes it can be a little bit put on the a little bit diluted because they may consider somebody God who isn't necessarily God,
Yes.
and they may not follow the rules and regulations. In which case, it's almost like a bargaining situation, a business situation. I worship you, and you give me because I'm impressed by the things that you produce out of thin air. And it's almost like mode of passion, almost like the mode of passion. So
So you say it's not mode of goodness, this one? No.
probably not. You can't generalize because a lot depends on the intention of the follower. So if the intention
Okay.
of the follower is genuine, that he's seeking to help others, and okay, he's been perhaps not quite guided in the right way about who the Supreme is, but his motivations are innocent and pure. That person is in the mode of goodness, right? That person is in the mode of goodness for sure.
Okay.
But so it's difficult to generalize, and especially
I know.
to generalize about a certain group of people is not the good thing to do. No, not necessarily a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just depends on the intentions of the individual.
So if the intention is good, then the person is in the mood of goodness, is it?
Likely to
Yeah.
be, yes, likely
Yeah.
to be. Because his mood is pure, like he wants to help others without any motivation. Yeah, that's the Lord will become pleased by that, no matter who's he's following, because as soon as you want to help somebody without anything back in return, you're on the righteous path.
Okay.
So no matter who you follow, you may follow the devil, but if you want to
Oh
help
my God.
if you want to help somebody without wanting anything back, you're on the righteous path, and the Lord will definitely guide, in time. Yeah. Yeah, because of selfless mood.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's very confusing. Some people, they are very helpful, and you think but they can be very evil as well. I've seen people like that.
Right.
But you don't know where to classify them, Yeah, so
But for us, it's best not to. It's best not to judge, because
yeah,
we don't know what's in the heart of somebody. We take people at face value. If somebody then shows their true colors, so be it. But even then, no need to judge anybody, because everybody's got their karma, and karma is so like devastating. The impact of karma is relentless, so best not to judge, because
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
yes, Sitaram.
Sai Baba, I know this person since long. They work in the formula that be good and do good. This is a formula. Okay, you are hungry, yes, Sai Baba can come and offer you a plate of prasad or whatever, and then you will thank him, and he also will thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. That's nice to know that. That's why we don't judge. We don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Shamini. Thank you for that discussion.
That's okay. So yeah.
No, it's good. It's very good.
Because I want to know them, whoever is in the mood of goodness and compare to devotees of the Lord. I don't know. Yeah.
Right.
Hare Krishna Mataji, it's difficult to judge those person.
Yeah.
They don't know what they are doing, Okay, Haribol.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
I think the devotees of the Lord, they generally have this mood of helping people come closer to God. By distributing books or prashad. And their mood can be completely different. But again, even within the devotee community, you have to be very careful because there are a lot of wolves in the, dressed as lambs.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Devotees, we cannot judge devotees with those person. I'm not blaming them. But devotees, they act according to the scriptures.
Yeah.
We are following Bhagavad Gita.
Good.
What is three modes? Those person cannot know what is these three modes.
Yeah.
We follow Srimad Bhagavatam. Every day we read Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat. It has a very great influence upon us, and we are initiated. We are guru. Our guru is with us. Though he is physically is not with us, but whatever action you are doing, Guru knows that at the last moment when we are leaving our body, the Guru will take us. If we are performing our duty well, by Sikh, we devotees, we do all our activities as is mentioned in the scriptures. All these things, we are with you now. What we are doing, Prabhu, we are listening to the classes, which make us a bit sharp. Okay, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you for sharing that. Karuna, what any thoughts from your side?
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't be judging others. What you should do, I don't think that we should be have an introspection of ourselves and try to progress in our spiritual life. So whatever is others are doing, okay, they have their karma, they have their thoughts, they are being conducted by the material nature. So yeah, better not to judge and try to progress in our spiritual life. That's better for us.
Yeah, makes sense. And Shambali, just how to compare those in the mode of goodness to the devotees. Of course, world of difference. They may do the same act, but one will be doing, like, for example, people in the mode of goodness, they would give food to those who need food. So the devotees do the same, right? They give food, but they give prashad. Prashad is mercy of the Lord. So they are going back to the spiritual world. But the devotees, the people who distribute food, they're doing good karma. They would go perhaps to the heavenly planets. Big difference, huge difference. Same act, same activity, but completely different result. So it's...
Yeah, that's a good example, Prabhu. Yeah, you just said.
Okay. shall we?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you for that
Thank
discussion. Very good.
Thank you.
Karuna?
Shall we continue? Or...
Oh my
Yeah,
Lord,
yeah.
that's the time, huh? Yeah, I think let's stop there, because actually this is quite an important area to.
Yeah.
Yeah, Guru Maharaj used to say actually, if we understand 14th chapter, then we will in due course of time go to the spiritual world and transcend the three modes. So this chapter is a good one to get it under our belt. And it's, in one sense, it's quite easy to understand. Put into practice is different, of course. So, okay, yeah, let's continue tomorrow.
Thank you. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki
Ki
jai.
jai.
Hare
Thank you. Thank you.